Hello everyone, and thank you for clicking on another one of my videos. I am Screen Scene Guru, and today I'll be discussing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. This is from Marvel Studios. This was released in 2023, part of the Phase 5. Very interesting to hear that we are wrapped up Phase 5 with the release of Ironheart. So definitely check that show out, guys, if you haven't been watching already. Going into my review for the movie, I have been doing reviews for the previous Guardians movies, 1 and 2, and the holiday special. So if you haven't checked those out already, go on down and check those out. I thank you very much for that. But going into Volume 3, we've got still reeling from the loss of Gamora. Peter Quill relies on his team to defeat or defend the universe and one of their own. A mission that could mean the end of the Guardians, if not successful. So this is primarily about Rocket Raccoon, the origins of Rocket. So very fascinating stuff here. We get to see a new villain, the High Evolutionary, introduced. So going into a bit of the soundtrack, I do have the CD as physical media to show off. So that's really cool. So I've got a little bit of a pamphlet right here. Can kind of show you the Awesome Mix Volume 3. That's what that looks like. And then here's a bit of the poster for Volume 3 when it was released in 2023. And they have a bit of the artwork to kind of show off, like a big homage. Here's the team, the Guardians. And then you see Rocket at the end, and I'll flip it over. See, real nice image of all the Guardian stuff. Really nice. I like that it's got the introduction of Will Poulter as Adam Warlock. I really liked him in Death of a Unicorn. So fascinating stuff. It did take a little bit of time for James Gunn to work on this Volume 3 because he get let go from Marvel, and then there was a situation happening with them making the Christmas special in 2022, which was fantastic. I really liked it. Guardians 3 was a little bit more jaded, I'd say, the darkest of the trilogy with the animal cruelty stuff in it, guys. A bit of a warning for those that don't like that. But really cool. I really liked the kind of final send-off for the team. Even though none of them died, they managed to save Rocket. And they all kind of went their separate ways. Peter Quill went back to Earth, so I really like that. And they did leave it open-ended for Peter Quill to return. Star-Lord will return, so I thought that was fascinating. They are discussing at Marvel about doing either Doctor Strange Academy or a Nova series, live action, but they don't know which they want to do, so that's very interesting to hear. But going into some more stuff to dive into, I do have some comic books to review. So real quick, I'm just going to pause. Okay, we're back. And the first comic I have is Guardians of the Galaxy, The Good, the Bad, and the Doppelgangers, issue 29 from 1992. So I'll show that off real quick. A nice look at the cover, a whole lot of characters on the cover, but this is a doppelganger issue, so I want to let you know, part of the Infinity War crossover they mentioned in the corner, so that's really fun. Going into first couple pages, we see Let Loose the Dogs of War, being angry, shouting at some of the other teammates. We do see the introduction of Dr. Octopus and his nastiest supervillains of the 20th century. We've got Gargantua, Puff-Ander, and the Shocker. So very interesting villains introduced. Some of them you might recognize from Spider-Man, Shocker and Dr. Octopus. We do have our current Guardians going up against them, Vance, Psychic, in the future. Some very interesting stuff there. We do get crossovers with a few other characters, like we've got Destiny and his doppelganger fighting. Cosmos. That's very interesting. Yellow Jacket wakes up from being knocked out. So that's very cool. We get to see the cosmic battle between Starhawk returning. So that's very fascinating. Let's see, another couple of fight scenes with the doppelgangers. All very fascinating stuff, guys. If you like the comics, be sure to give a like for the channel. Be sure to comment down below. Follow me on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, all the places at Scene Screen Guru. If you aren't already, check this out. So we're basically hearing from Vance, the current Captain America in the 3rd century, that his doppelganger isn't going to hold back against him, and that neither is Gargantua, apparently, because they're just going all out, trying to take each other out. And eventually this does lead to the Guardians teaming up with Dr. Octopus. Very fascinating stuff. Got right here the perfect example of them teaming up, discussing strategy. And then I'll go to the next page, and I believe it's right about here, where they realize they have to work together. Then of course the battle ensues. They get rid of all the doppelgangers, or at least the ones they think they have gotten rid of for now. So that's very fascinating as well. And then we're leaving it with Jarvis, the butler of the Avengers Tower, coming out with the broom, telling the Guardians who's going to clean up this mess before the Avengers come home. Because they do want to be able to go back through ebb and flow through time to get the Avengers help. So I thought that was a really good comic. This, The Good, the Bad, and the Doppelgangers. From '92, guys. So check out your comic books at your local comic shop. I highly recommend. This was part of my old school collection of the Guardians of the Galaxies. I have another one here. We've got Guardians of the Galaxy issue number 30 from '92. So this is right after issue 29 and then issue 30. Show them off a bit. And so this issue, titled "I Quit," very interesting. We Captain America leaving the Guardians, having a discussion with Captain 27, being really upset about how all the other Guardians are off on this mission, and he's trying to convince them not to go because he does not feel that this has a just cause, which is very interesting for Captain America to be, morally upright character. Even in the future, it seems. We get to see a really cool look at their ship, which is very interesting because it's very much like a weird balls, interesting ship that maybe James Gunn could have been inspired by to make in the movies. But we get to see Rancor return, the granddaughter of Wolverine, and Doom return as well, with mutants in the future. So that's very fascinating. Got advertisements, and then we see Jarvis trying to convince Captain America to calm down after he's exposed to toxic gas. It's very interesting. He does warn them that the mission is going to go awry, and he tries to send them a signal while they're in hyperspace. So that's very fascinating as well. We do see again Starhawk having to deal with the celestial battles. Agent 27 mentioning that they're running into a structure out there, and I believe eventually they discuss the Baron ambush planet Atalon. So yeah, some of the Guardians were there when a big battle went down, and they discuss the drama of surviving the incoming battle. Let's see. They mentioned there's a bit of a nod to the Inhumans when they mentioned they thought the Inhumans had it bad, but the Guardians are dealing with much riskier threats. Then we go to this new planet where we see aliens being attacked by electromagnetic wave that's coming. So that's very fascinating. Their equipment is shocked. They're disrupted by their equipment. Let's see. Then we get to see the Guardians launching off to their mission. And then we get to see a glimpse back at New York City, Manhattan, in the 31st century. Yeah. And it's all of the Punishers, the group of mercenary assailants trained by Frank Castle in the future being captured, which I thought was very interesting. They have them right here coming out of a building, and they mentioned they're going to take them and put them in jail, but a group of Punishers in the comic, which I thought that was fascinating, because we just got done with Daredevil Born Again, and there was a whole group of Punishers in that obviously weren't working for Frank, but they alluded to the group of Punishers from the comics, which I didn't know there was a whole group trained by Frank. That's very interesting. And then right at the end, we do get to see the OG Cap come to talk to Jason, or Vance, I think his name is Vance, our future Captain America. So both Captain Americas come to talk while he's having kind of a melancholy crisis moment. But very good comics right here, issue 29 and 30 of old school 92 Guardians of the Galaxy, guys. What did you think? Are you guys currently reading the comics, catching up to new projects they're working on? Let me know down below. Be sure to stay tuned for all my videos coming. So if you haven't already, like the video, comment what your thoughts are. Be sure to follow my pages at Screen Scene Guru. So thank you very much. I've already made it to 71 subscribers, so that's a big milestone this year. Appreciate it. Until next time, guys, I'm signing off. Bid you adieu, and have a good one. Bye-bye.